disruption and misdirection of the services they provide.
Okay, good. So this is basically self-explanatory. So it's the protection of the information system, not just the information system, but the hardware, the software, the information, the data. We're protecting it from theft. We're protecting it, from disruption, misdirection, meaning you're doing something and it is disrupted by something else, maybe a hacker hacking to your device and disrupt some process that you're doing. Misdirection, again, a hacker can hack into your device and send your data to the wrong persons. So that's what it means by misdirection or disrupting your services. All right, so computer security, and it has three names if you notice. Computer security is the same thing as cyber security and is the same thing as IT security. So overall, what you need to remember that is basically the protection of hardware and software. To make it simpler, so it's the protection of hardware and software from theft, damage, disruption, or misdirection. Moving on. All right, so why isn't it changing now? Okay. All right, so here we find another definition. It can also be defined as controls that are put in place to provide confidentiality, integrity, and availability for all components of the computer system. These components include data, software, hardware, and firmware. So basically, it is protecting our data or software or hardware and our firmware from theft, damage, disruption, etc. So in the previous slide, we saw only where it mentioned software, hardware, data, but here we're finding a new word. Of course, we should know what hardware is. It's the physical parts of the computer. The software are the parts, the programs basically that run the system. We can see them, we cannot touch them. And the data is basically all the facts, the information that is on the system. But firmware, sorry, that is the one that we might not be familiar with. And this is the permanent software that runs the processes of the computer and is mostly invisible to the user, like the startup functions that make elements of the hardware work together. So the firmware, basically, it is a software, and I would say that it is basically the system software that they're talking about. System software that runs the computer, make sure that the monitor is communicating with the system unit. System unit is communicating with the mouse. So the firmware basically controls everything, make sure the computer starts up, and it's all those things that are permanently stored, like the startup screen, the date and the time. When you see Windows pop up on the screen, those things that you can't change, those would be the firmware. So as the name suggests, firmware, you cannot change it. It comes with the device. Just like when you turn on your phone and you see it says iPhone, whatever, come up on the screen. That would be an example of firmware because it's not something that you can change. All right, so we're continuing. Everybody get that so far?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Okay.
Yes, miss.
Okay, so we're going to move on. I don't know why this thing is taking so long to move to the next slide when I click the button. Move. Are you still seeing it or is it too fine?
Wait, fine, miss.
It's too fine?
Yes, miss.
Yes,
Can
miss.
zoom in.
No, when I have it on full screen, it's not switching to the next slide or it's taking forever. Well, let me put it back on the slideshow.
Miss, we
Or
can
let
zoom.
me zoom it in instead and see. You're seeing it better?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
All right, so I'll keep it here. All right. Elements of cyber security. So there are a few elements of cyber security. One is vulnerability. The second one is threat. The third one is attack. And the fourth one would be countermeasures. So you can probably jot those down. Vulnerability, that's the first one. So these are the elements of cybersecurity. Next one is threat. The third one is attack. And the fourth one is countermeasures. Countermeasures. All right, so without going into the definitions, when something is vulnerable or someone is vulnerable, what does that mean? Anybody?
Yes.
Without looking at the notes, when something is vulnerable or someone is, if I say, Nijay is so vulnerable at this time, what do I mean? What does the word vulnerable mean?
Miss.
Hey, miss, everybody I go on Google, you know.
Well, I need a definition.
Miss, it would be like
Hear that? Google.
computer is weak to something and basically yeah.
Are affected. No.
All right, so I like the first one. Tiara said. So it's weak to someone. So like when we use the word vulnerable, sometimes we say, oh, this person was so vulnerable that he took advantage of her because she just lost her mom. She was vulnerable and he took advantage of her. So take it now to IT. If a computer system is vulnerable, what do you think that means?
It's easy to access.
It's easy to access. Very good. So it has a weak security. It has a weak guard, and so it's easy to access. All right, so let's go through what is there. So remember, we're looking at the elements of cybersecurity. Elements meaning what cybersecurity entails, what it contains, and their vulnerability, attack, threat, and countermeasures. All right, so vulnerability is a computer vulnerability is a cybersecurity term that refers to a defect in a system. Defect mean a problem in the system that can leave it open to attack. So basically what we said earlier, this is a weak system, it's open to attack. When it's open to attack, what do you think that means? Hello? Open to attack.
Miss, what it mean?
Yeah. If it's open to attack, what does that mean? Or what you understand from that?
Miss, it's like we can hack it.
Very good. So somebody can hack into the system. So how would the system be left open to attack? If you
Miss,
do
not
not
no
have what?
security.
So
No
because it
password.
is weak, you don't have any password, or you have a password, but the password is very weak. Your name is Matrix, whoever that is, and you put your password as Matrix. That would be a very vulnerable password, right? Because everybody know that your name Matrix, and so That's the first thing everybody is going to try. So we should try to have very good passwords. That's why when you're creating passwords, you notice sometimes it says this is a very weak password, even with your phones. So it's telling you that it's weak, meaning that it would allow for somebody to easily access your system. And so it say, all right, make a stronger password, one that have numbers and letters, capital letters, and so on. All right.
Yes.
So we don't leave our systems open to attack. So this vulnerability could also refer to any type of weakness that is present in a computer in itself, in a set of procedures, or in anything that allows information security to be exposed to a threat. And that takes us to the next element, which is threat. What is a threat? If with this now, if Kevoy come and say that Matrix threatened him, what does that mean?
Let's repeat that again.
What does the word threat means? If somebody comes, if Kevoy come and say, you know that Matrix threatened me yesterday, what does threat means? What is a threat?
Well, let me guess.
Come on, guys, you must know what a threat is. You guys threaten each other every day.
We
Well,
promise to harm, miss.
all right, so promise to harm somebody. So it's like a promise, basically. You say, all right, I'm gonna do you something.
State one intention to take hostile.
All right, Google.
Google a walk.
Yeah.
All right, so basically you guys are correct. So the threat, so think about it, IT related now, and we are doing computer security. What would a threat be as it relates to IT?
Hackers.
Miss, what I mean? I don't know what you say. What I mean?
That must be Kevoy. Kevoy. Can somebody please explain to Kevoy what we're doing? Thank you. Who's going to explain to Kevoy? Katrine.
What, threaten IT in a IT, miss?
Just overall, all right, Amoy, explain to Kevoy what we're doing, because obviously he doesn't understand anything at all. Go ahead, Amoy. Mr. Amoy.
Nobody no know
Mister,
them.
hear nobody attack.
They might use silent turn off them mic.
Katrine,
Yes, miss.
start talking. Explain to Kevoy what we're doing, because Kevoy don't know what we're doing.
We're doing elements of cybersecurity. We're at vulnerability.
But what's the overall topic?
Oh, computer security or cybersecurity.
Which is what?
Miss, if you read the definition, miss.
No. You don't remember anything from what was said?
I don't know how to explain, miss.
The same thing at school and the same thing on the yard. All right. Kevoy, are you listening?
Yes, miss.
So cybersecurity has to do with securing or protecting your hardware, your software, your data, your firmware. We are protecting them from thieves, from hackers, from being destroyed, from being disrupted. You understand that?
Yes, miss.
All right. So we continued and we're now looking at the elements of cybersecurity. Elements there mean, what does cybersecurity contain? Things in relation to cybersecurity. The first one we said is vulnerability. So the system can be vulnerable, mean it's weak, so it's open to attack, meaning hackers And just malicious persons, your password is weak, somebody can just go into your device and do what they want to do. So that's when it's vulnerable. So we move on to the next one now, which is threat. And we said that if a computer is threatened, it means that, well, no, we never got through that yet. So I don't want to tell you the answer. That was what we asked. So we said that a threat is when somebody promises to harm someone or promise to hurt someone. So I'm asking now, how could that relate to computer security? A threat. A computer threat. So what could be a computer threat?
Somebody will try like somebody come on your phone where unknown and tell you say them gonna kill you. You know.
But they don't have to tell you that they're going to kill you, you know. That's just threat in the real world. But as it relates to computer threat, it would not necessarily mean that they come and tell you that they're going to kill you. It's just that your system is threatened, meaning going back to the same thing, it's weak, so it's easily accessible, so somebody can access it and do what they want to do.
Yeah.
So a threat, let's look at the definition. In the context of computer security, refers to anything that has the potential to cause serious harm to your computer system. So can you think about a computer threat?
Viruses, miss.
So virus, very good. So a virus can cause serious harm to your computer system, as in it can cause the system to crash and just mash up completely. So that would be a threat to the computer or to your laptop or your tablet or your smartphone or whatever it is. Even though smartphones, it's hard to get viruses, but it can happen. Any other threats? The virus can be a threat. Hackers could be a threat because the hackers would hack these systems, hack your system. Well, you guys won't have credit cards, no, but your children. But say for your parents, someone hacks into your parents' smartphone while they're paying their bills online and get access to their credit card information. You know, then they can now use the credit card to purchase things online that your parents don't have anything about, know anything about. Then when they get this bill, it's a big bill, and then they realize that their card was compromised, and so it was hacked basically. The third one is attack. Since it's there on the screen already, I won't ask you what is an attack, but we know what an attack is, right?
Yes, miss.
So as it relates to computers or computer network, just computers in general, an attack is any attempt to expose, alter, disable, destroy, steal, or gain unauthorized access to, or make unauthorized use of an asset. So you have a computer and someone launches an attack on this device. So normally this attack is to either expose. So say for example, you have some people who like to take naked pictures. That's why we're not supposed to do these things. Somebody can launch an attack as in to go into your system, take these pictures in an attempt to expose you, alter, maybe you have something typed up a message and the person go in there, change up the message and send it out to a lot of persons, and that's not what you wanted to say. Disable, maybe you have a particular software that you rely on and the person goes in there and disable the software, you can no longer use it. Destroy, meaning basically damage. Steal whether the device or information on the device, and just basically unauthorized access of the device. Do we understand attack?
Yes, miss.
I'm not sure. Let me ask you if you explain now, everybody dumb. The last one is countermeasure. What do you think a countermeasure is?
Yes, I know something I know though.
You might leave it try.
You don't know, so if you don't know, you be quiet and make somebody try.
Counter.
Like when you put the measures,
What you said?
it's like when you count the measures.
No.
Might kill me.
Miss like counter danger, miss like stop danger.
Yes. Sorry to laugh, Niji.
Miss, wait. Me I try give
Amoy already gave us the answer, Kevoy.
it
So
is
Amoy
like
said is when you are trying to prevent or stop these things from happening. So
Miss a
countermeasure.
Kiano, miss, and am I
Who?
Kiano?
Keanu. Oh, sorry, Keanu.
Yeah,
I didn't
new.
know you were here. All right, Keanu. So countermeasure is whatever measure you're going to put in place to stop these things from happening. So what are you going to put in place to stop a threat from happening? What can you put in place to stop a threat?
this one password that nobody can figure out.
You can put a password. What else?
Antivirus will stop viruses.
Antivirus. Very good. You can use firewalls. So the countermeasure is any measure that you're going to take to prevent or to stop a threat or an attack or vulnerability from happening.
Miss, you can use VPN to miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So countermeasure. Let me see. I want somebody to read. Candice, are you there?
Read.
Candice, you're pretending that you're not hearing anything.
Yes, I cannot see it clearly.
You
Can
can
you see
zoom.
the screen?
Kiana Yawa.
Zoom a thing.
Can you see it better?
Yes,
And Lisa
yes.
Robinson, please speak now.
DJ, I don't need any echo.
Exactly. Countermeasure.
Like,
In computer system, a countermeasure is an action, device, procedure, or technique that reduces a threat, a vulnerability, or an attack by elimination or preventing it, by minimizing the harm it can cause, or by discovering and reporting it so that corrective action can be taken.
All right, thanks, Candy. So it's basically what we said, all right? So remember earlier when we spoke about securing our system and we said that we have physical measures that we can use to secure our system and we have software measures. Physical, meaning what you can touch, physical things. So these would be physical measures that you'll take to prevent threat, attack, or vulnerability. And the software measure would be those things that are not physical. You cannot see or touch them. These are basically software that you can use to protect. So there are some examples of physical measures here. The first one is backup and recovery procedure. Can somebody tell me what backup and recovery is? By the way, before we go any further, Nije, so no when if you talk, you can't talk.
yeah, talk, miss.
You keep mentioning VPN. Can you tell us what that is, please?
Miss
Here, man.
VPN, like, Miss VPN is like when it's like a virus protection, miss.
Oh, it's an antivirus.
Yes, miss.
You sure?
No really miss. Me no let me know.
I don't know.
You can set like fake address.
So it's like an IP address as it relates to, like if you connect to the internet and you get a fake IP address and you connect to the internet, but
Yes, miss, and you can
it's like
if you say connected to a safe server or
Private server
like
miss.
yeah.
that, miss.
So if the VPN now, so if you don't connect to a safe server, a safe network or a private network, like when we go out on the road and we just connect to any kind of Wi-Fi, you know that it doesn't have to be a real Wi-Fi. It could be a made-up one that hackers actually create to hack into people's devices, right?
They all are
Yes.
full of free Wi-Fi. When you know now.
All right, so let's move on. So can somebody tell me now the physical measures, backup and recovery? What's backup and recovery?
Restore.
Yes, who is answering? If you back up and
When you back up your data, in case you delete or something them or something.
all right, so what is a physical way we can back up our data?
Miss your copy or something.
Copy
but
and paste
what
on a
is
thumb drive, miss.
good? So you put it on a thumb drive.
I miss that, you know.
Okay, miss. Who that? Latonia?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Next one is hardware firewall. Anybody know what a firewall is? What does a regular wall do? You have
Black.
wall at home. What does the wall do?
It's
Miss
black,
black,
black
black.
people from look over your yard are begging no food.
So bueno.
Joking, what they come for that.
All right, so it blocks out unwanted persons, right? So it's the same thing with the firewall as it relates to your device. If you have firewall on your computers or your phones or whatever, it blocks out unwanted persons. So like hackers and so on, it prevents them from accessing your device. All right, intrusion detection system. What do you think that is?
That means when somebody, it detect when somebody try hacking in your system, miss.
Good. So do you know of any intrusion detection system?
Miss, like when somebody try hacking with Instagram, they send you an email.
Very good. So they send, very good, Patchin. So they send you an email. Any other way?
Miss, like when you log in, when you log in for one other phone, they email them, send you a message and say if I do it or something.
Yeah, good. Also, some devices, depending on the type of cell phone, smartphone that you have, it will take the person's picture. Anybody know of that?
Yes, miss.
So if somebody is
Yes,
trying
miss.
to enter your code and they do it like say 10 times, depending on how you set it, it takes their picture and it sends it to your email, so you know exactly who is trying to go into your system.
Yes, miss. Like it, yeah, miss. It like if them sometimes them ask to verify if I you.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to the next one is biometrics. What does biometric have to do with?
Eye fingerprint.
So it has to do with using parts of the body to enter, using parts of your body to enter the device, right? So iris scan, fingerprints, face recognition, voice recognition, all of those would be biometrics. So those are physical measures. Now the next set, software measures. And we spoke about some of these already. Antivirus, and you should not just have an antivirus on your system, but make sure that it's up to date. Because if it's not up to date, it will not be effective. Doesn't make any sense you have it. It's not up to date, it will not fight or prevent viruses. Make sure you use an effective password. We spoke about that as well. Authentication system, that goes back to probably the pattern, drawing a pattern or using passwords. Basically same thing. Encryption of data. What is encryption of data?
Code it means like you lock it.
So but what does that mean? What is the difference between encryption and password? Can you?
Mr. Phone,
Miss, you have your password for your phone, and if I want to go in at the email, you have to put in a next password for going at the email.
But what is encryption?
You translate data into phone.
So basically,
Miss is like
Yes, Jessica, tell us.
how would I call me name?
Talk no man.
Jessica,
Yes, Miss.
go ahead.
Miss, like if Miss your message, secure your message them, Miss, so nobody can go in at them, Miss.
But in securing the messages, what does encryption do?
It converts.
Encode a message.
So basically encode. Yes, can you use big word? What does encode mean?
You use. Well, no, shut up, no, people. They use like
Go for Google, I know.
no.
Oh, your shirt them dry. Your shirt them dry.
Yes, can you? Am I mute the
Alana?
mic? All right, I cannot wait any longer.
Miss, look up on Google and me say it is the process of converting data from one form to another.
So it's all right, good. So it's basically your coding. I'm going to write something down here. You can see down here, sir? You can see I'm writing?
Oh yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Yes,
All
miss.
right. So let me speak. So say for example, my password is cat, right? To code this so that it's not easily recognizable, I could write it as, well, I won't be able to find, I'm using my laptop, so I may not find the cent sign. So let me see what I could use. Oh, I could use this. It's still
Me
going
see
to look,
when I use the at for the Amis,
yeah.
that me
And
that
then
talk. So me just never
I use plus for, so I use the brackets for the C, the at sign for A, and the plus sign for C.
and that me that talk, me just never know if it
Yeah, man, I know that you know what it is, you just don't know to explain it. So basically your code, it codes the words, make them into something else that you alone know what it means. Alright? Alright. Guys, if you're not speaking, please to mute your mic until you're speaking. Alright, other measures. So other ways we can counter attacks and threats and vulnerability, viruses, etc., hackers. Other countermeasures include not opening email attachments unless you're completely certain of what they are and who they are from. So somebody send you an email, you don't know the email address, you're not sure of the person, do not open it. Because sometimes these attachments can actually be viruses that malicious persons send. Never install software that you're not sure of. And again, go back to this. Do not use Wi-Fi that you're uncertain of. Good? Moving on. Right, so we should move on to computer misuse. How can we misuse a computer? Just unmute your mic if you're going to answer. How can you misuse a computer? How can you misuse information? Don't have to call names. Although I cannot see you, so you don't have to answer.
Miss, repeat the question, Miss. May I try?
Misuse. How can a computer be misused, or the information on a computer be misused?
Miss, like computers are used for hacking purposes.
Very good. Thank you, Tiara. So you're using the computer to hack into somebody's system. So you're misusing the device. All right? Any other way? Know that Tiara starts us off.
Me say when you plant virus in a people something.
All right, Latonia. Anything else? Somebody, I think it was Nijay who mentioned one earlier when we just started. And I was saying that's an example. A lot of you students do it on Instagram and Snapchat and all the work.
Cyberbullying.
Cyberbullying. So you use the device for cyberbullying purposes.
That one to that one, miss. Miss one to that one day.
Nijay, that is not important. Me I go block you. All right. So let's look at the ones that are listed here. All right, so computer misuse. Both individuals, groups, organizations can misuse computers. Computers can be misused in the following ways, and the first one on the list is cyberbullying. Can somebody just quickly, all right. Let me see. Each of them. You may not know all of them. We're going to go through each of them. But I'm going to choose the ones that we might know about, and I'm going to ask persons to just tell me what you know about it. The first one is cyberbullying. Anybody?
Yes, so we can say with
Miss
cyberbullying.
cyberbullying is when trouble people online.
Okay.
Like Miss Miss
The
like
This is
that's
using the
Yeah,
internet
send them
to
some message like yeah, threaten them and them I get freed.
All right. All right. So that's cyberbullying. Basically, in a nutshell, you're not incorrect. Let me see. I don't know if anybody might know what copyright infringement is. Anybody know what copyright is?
Yeah,
Miss
like
when you use people things or something like that without
All
them
right.
knowing permission.
Okay, good. So copyright is when you own the rights to something. I designed a bag, I wrote this book is mine, and I put a copyright on it. That means nobody else is supposed to use it. Even my name, I can copyright my name. If I copyright my name, a lot of musicians, artists copyright their names. If they copyright their name, somebody else cannot come and say, oh, name Vibes Cartel. No, because there's a copyright on that name. So if you come up now and say, all right, your name Vibes Cartel, it would be a copyright infringement and you'll be fined or imprisoned for breaking the copyright law. All right. Data theft. What do you think that is? The name speaks for itself.
People thief data.
Exactly. Stealing of data. So somebody go on your device and thief some data where you have. Maybe it's important data, could be some passwords, depending on the type of job that you do. Maybe like a doctor's office, somebody steal some data to find out who have AIDS from who don't have AIDS or something, confidential data. All right. Number 4. All right. You may not know that one. Although you were told to read the notes, so we shouldn't even go through these in such details. What about identity theft?
Mr. Natty people who you pretend to be somebody or something. No.
Yeah. So it's basically stealing the person's identity, and this takes place a lot in the United States. A lot. So people steal people's identity for various reasons. They steal their identities and then they run up like their credit score. You know that in America it has to do with having a good credit score. So if you take loans and you don't pay them back and stuff like that, you'll have a bad credit score. You won't be able to purchase a car, a house, nor anything. So people steal other people's identity and run up their credit scores. So when these persons are ready to do anything, they can't do it because they have bad credit. All right, so let me see which other one you might know. So denial of service attack, we're going to go through them. Transmission of viruses and malware, we know what that is. Transferring viruses speaks for itself. Online publication of obscene material. What kind of material would be obscene?
pornographic.
Very good. Next one. All right. Phishing attack, software and music piracy. Anybody ever watch any movie and or pirate movie? Who is a pirate?
Caribbean, where there's something of the Caribbean, the movie them is.
So who is a pirate?
me know where you talk.
So who is a pirate?
The ship, owner of a ship.
Not
Full time
necessarily.
deal.
Pirates are normally the ones that go around and try to steal the
Money.
people's gold and stuff like that.
Miss all people are them thief.
Yeah.
One year man with the parrot.
A school there now. You humble yourself, no?
Thanks, Keanu. So the pirate is basically somebody who steals. So software piracy or music piracy would be, say for example, a musician design not a lyrics, what you call it? Like the soundtrack thing, like rhythm.
Yeah.
They design a new rhythm, and then all of a sudden this next artist take the rhythm and build a tune on the rhythm. And that would have been music piracy because they stole the person's musical rhythm and lyrics or whatever it is.
Same.
All right. Financial abuse. Financial abuse would be like hackers that hack into people's financial records and again purchase things with their credit cards and stuff like that. Violation of privacy. If your privacy is violated, what does that mean?
Miss, somebody hack your account and go in your private information.
All right, good. But does somebody have to hack into your device to gain access to your private information?
No, miss.
No, the person doesn't have to hack. Like you can have your device, you put it down. Maybe you set it so that it locks after 2 minutes, and then before it locks, somebody takes it up, go in there, take out what they want to take out. So they would have violated your privacy, even though they did not hack into your device. All right, propaganda. Ever hear the term propaganda? Like somebody says, stop spread. So what does it mean?
Like sending false information.
Yes.
Huh?
I think.
Like somebody said, don't spread no propaganda upon me. What does that mean?
False
Please
news.
spread news.
False news. Very good. So it's basically like rumors.
Misleading.
All right, and this is misleading. I thought I heard somebody say something about misleading. All right, next one, electronic eavesdropping. That one.
When you're fast.
But, right. So it's when you are
like misleading.
Hold on.
Saying.
Hold on. The persons who are not speaking in the group, can you mute your microphones, please? Go ahead now. Who was talking? All right, so eavesdropping is when you basically get yourself involved in a conversation that is not relating to you. So some persons are talking and you go and you listen in on the conversation. So this is on a bigger level. Like for example, Russia and United States, Germany and those countries that are always at war, they might use electronic eavesdropping to gain access to information as it relates to missiles and stuff like that. Industrial espionage, we'll go into that one as well because I know that you guys won't know what that one is. So let's run through each of them quickly. We won't spend a lot of time on them. We know that, so we're at cyberbullying and we know what this one is: threatening, harassing, embarrassing someone online. And if you can see the image right here, you notice what is happening in the picture. You see, like, is the computer, hand coming out of the computer and draping up the guy. Can you see that?
Yes, miss.
So it's basically saying that somebody using the computer. You notice the words: retard, idiot, you're stupid, I hate you, moron, you're a failure, stuff like that. So guys, when we cyberbully, what can this lead to?
Suicide.
Very good. So people can, and this is very prevalent, especially in the United States. I know it happens in Jamaica, but especially in the United States, a lot of children kill themselves because of cyberbullying. They take it very serious there. All right, next one. Thought we would be finished already. We're probably gone past 1 hour.
No problem. Come on, me other miss.
Oh, yes.
Everybody can see?
Yes, miss.
All right, copyright infringement. Copyright means, this should be changed. Copyright infringement means that a person, this is wrong. Copyright means that a person, that a person do not have the right to make a copy of somebody else's work without their. So copyright is when you own it, but copyright infringement is when you don't own it and you copy it without permission. So this picture here says don't copy. All right. Moving on. Data theft, we spoke about that already. Somebody going in and stealing the data. Notice that this.
Hold on.
Najee, we are the brother?
Miss, I see the area, miss. Miss.
Yes.
You see the area, miss?
Yes, I am. For what reason, I don't know why.
Miss, may I ask what the word they mean?
Theft?
Theft?
Is the past tense of thief.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right, yeah.
What you learn?
Oh God, you're learning, very good. So data theft is the act of stealing computer-based information. We said that already. I'm not spending any time on that. And you notice the man right here dressed up like a bandit on the
Yes,
laptop,
miss.
stealing the person's
If a
information.
girl like bandit.
Oi.
No, that.
Mute your mics if you're not speaking directly to what is happening. All right, let me focus on this one a little because we didn't go through this one. The denial of service attack. So any time of attack where the hackers attempt to prevent legitimate users from accessing the service. I don't know if you ever watch any movies, like there's some war shows or some presidential shows where they have this room with all these servers and computers and so on that they basically control.
London has fallen.
And then they probably say Russia send out an attack on their computers and so on. So when they're trying to access it, on their screen they're saying denied, access denied, access denied, access denied. Even when they put in the password, it's saying access
Yeah,
denied.
them connect to the satellite them is and them send out some transmission or something.
Yeah, so they hack into it and then denying them. Even though they know their passwords and stuff, they might even change the password so they cannot gain access to it. Follow?
Yes, miss.
All right, next one. Moved a little bit too fast. What was this one? So this one is as it relates to malware.
Malware.
So malware, it comes from the word malicious and software. So a malware is basically a malicious software. Get that? So malware comes from the word, the MAL is for malicious and the ware is for software. So it's a malicious software, meaning it was intentionally created to harm the device. It's a malicious software. So this would include viruses, worms, Trojan horses, and so on. And when I speak about worm, Trojan horse, I'm not talking about an insect and I'm not talking about an animal. These are just the names of these kind of softwares that were designed to harm a computer. Good?
Yes,
yes,
miss.
All right, so of these three though, you have the computer, you have virus, the worm. What is significant about the worm, why they call it a worm, is because it's just like how a worm replicates itself. If you do biology, you know that a worm, it basically replicates itself, and you can look at a location, you see one worm, and then by a quint, you see 10 worms in the same spot, because the worms replicate themselves. So that's what this kind of virus does, is that you're on the system and you have a file. You have a file called Kevoi's SBA. And on that file, Kevoi's SBA, you have about 20 files named Kevoi's SBA. So the worm, that's what the worms does. So it's a virus. And the Trojan horses, that one is the most detrimental type of malware. That one will actually delete your files. And this one is, it's very hard to detect because it comes in like a video game, it comes in like a song, it comes in like a video, and you download these things.
It's like a bug.
Yeah, so you download them and you don't even know. So, and it's the most dangerous one of all of them.
Yeah, that happened to me already.
All right, good. So they are explained further. So computer virus is explained there. Worm, as I said, replicates itself. Yeah, instead it copies itself, and it copies to other computers as well. Trojan horse, piece of software, look normal. As I said, it come in a video, a song, and so on. As you can read those things on your own, I did tell you to read. Malware can spread in either of the following ways. Either you send an email attachment with it, or of course we know you have a contaminated thumb drive, or it is hidden in software like music, games that you download on your device. So you have to be careful when you're downloading things that it's from a credible source. Everybody is following?
Yes, yes.
I'm not going too fast.
No.
All right. Identity theft, we know what that is. Look on the picture here. The picture shows a depiction of what it is basically. So it's like the man take off the man's face, basically put it on his, and he now becomes the other person. And he use the person money, just basically live the person entire life. All right?
Yes, miss.
Next one. Online publication of obscene material, and somebody mentioned pornography. You see these 3 X's with the red thing around it. That's exactly what it means. Pornographic material. And it's not just obscene material. It's not just pornographic material. It also includes videos that encourage violence and use of illegal drugs. So any kind of video with people fight or kill each other, somebody murder somebody, somebody rape somebody, there are pornographic scenes, there is illegal drugs being done, people are smoking, taking coke, all of these things will be considered as obscene material if they are placed on the internet. So this is one way also that computers are misused. Phishing. Now, as the word phishing suggests, only that this one is spelled with PH. Phishing is when you, everybody know what phishing is, right? You have your hook on your, what they call it? Key on your living bay. What it's called?
Rod.
All right, so you have your hook on your rod and stuff, and you throw out the line, and then you wind it if you get a fish or whatever you do. It's the same thing. But this is as it relates to IT, right? So phishing is when the person basically fish around in your device, as in they go around the device and try to find certain things like your password, your credit card information. So if you notice on this image, you see that like it's like using a device to enter somebody else's device and fish around for credible or confidential data. Everybody see that?
Yes, miss.
All right. Piracy, we spoke about piracy already. Basically, stealing or copywriting on a large scale to make money. So, for example, those persons that sell the bootleg movies, you know what bootleg means?
No, man.
All right, so the bootleg movies are when they go inside the movie theaters and they hide and use their cameras or phones and video the movie, and then they put it on the DVDs and sell them. That's a bootleg movie. So that would be considered piracy. Now that is why when you see them on the road, when the police passing, that is why you see them running like that, because they're selling bootleg movies and these are illegal. So even though people buy them and sometimes police don't trouble them, it's because the laws are not so much enforced in our nation, but they can be locked up and charged because these are bootleg movies. Because what happens is that when they do these things, the theater doesn't make enough money, and also the persons who are actually selling the legitimate videos of the actual movie, they don't make enough money, or they don't make any money at all because somebody video it, put it on a DVD and sell it for $100, and people buy it instead of buying the real thing. Follow?
Yes, miss.
All right, so we have types of piracy here. Counterfeiting. Counterfeiting is when you duplicate and sell unauthorized copies of software, and I just explained that. So like videos, music, or software. So software could include games. So you have like a fake game where you put on a DVD and sell it, music on a DVD, or the videos. All right. Piracy continued. Guys, can you read these on your own? Huh?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Let me see how long we have left to finish this.
Miss Bell ring long time, huh?
Long time.
All
right.
I keep my not going to do.
Exactly. That's Emily here, so.
All right, so
3.
Huh?
I have a class at 3.
Yeah, man.
Miss, almost left to do.
I'm finishing by 2:30. I'm not going because I have a class at 3 as well. I have a grade 11 class at 3.
All right, miss.
All right, so if we're not finished, we'll just have to continue.
All right, miss.
All right, so types of piracy continue. The next one, so the first one was counterfeiting. The next one is soft lifting. This is when you purchase a single licensed copy of a software and load it onto several machines. So for example, you purchase a copy of a game, right? It's the right game, you know, it's the real game. You purchase it and then you put it on all of your friend them device. That is considered to be piracy and it's actually illegal. Even though we do these things and we don't think anything is wrong with it, it's actually illegal to do these things. So we purchase one copy of the thing and put it on all of our friends' devices. Hard disk loading is when we sell computer with illegal software on them. Huh?
Like Netflix, whenever they give the account.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that could be an example. All right, so bulletin board piracy is putting software on a bulletin board service for anyone to copy it. Anybody that need it can get it. So this is like you have something that is public. Bulletin board is like a notice board, right? So you have a software that you put on this notice board. Say for example, the OHHS seniors thing that anybody that you guys can log in and go on. So if I put a software there that any of you can just go on it and take it off, that would be considered bulletin board piracy. So I have the current version of Microsoft Office. I put it there and I say, okay, students, you can take off Microsoft Office from the device. Software rental. I don't know if this is being done anymore. So it's renting out illegal copies of software. But back in the days, they used to have movies on tapes or cassette, we used to call them, and they used to rent them. So you go and you rent one, like or you borrow a book, and they take it back if it's damaged. You know, you pay an extra money and so on. So like you rent it for a week or so. All right, financial abuse. Financial abuse is the illegal or unauthorized use of a person's property, money, pension book, or other valuables. So right away we know that a scammer or an hacker would be a financial abuser. Notice the definition say the person don't give you any permission, but you have access to their property, their money, their pension book, and other valuables. So this is something that scammers and hackers practice mostly. Violation of privacy, we know what this is: invading someone's space, propaganda, spreading of fake or false news, electronic eavesdropping, I told you that one already, tapping into a communication channel to retrieve information. And I gave you the example with US, like US and Russia, and the eavesdropping by logging into they can eavesdrop by logging into the US internet or their whatever they have, their satellite, and gain personal data and so on. All right. So some countries actually employ hackers because they need them to do these things for them. So even though a hacker would be considered to be somebody bad, there are countries like United States, Russia and those countries, they actually employ hackers.
Ethical
Yes,
hackers.
I know why, Miss cause you know more like time them they in a war, Miss. So them use them for hack the systems and the missile
yeah.
them
So that, and they hack also so that they can know the other countries' strategies.
Yeah.
So they know what they're going to do next and how many missiles they're going to launch and where they're going to launch.
Yes,
and try stop hackers to miss to them ethical hacking.
Yeah. All right. Now this one that I didn't focus on this one. Industrial espionage. All right. So some businesses or organizations practice this, but it is illegal, right? And you can be charged for it. So it's when like you have two companies or two competitors, say for example, Lasco and Grace, right? Grace has somebody working on the inside for them. So they have somebody that's working at Lasco, but the person is really employed through Grace. And what this person does is that listen to the marketing strategies that Lasco has and everything, and then report it back to Grace. So Lasco say, all right, you're coming out with a new flavor mackerel, tin mackerel, whatever that flavor might be. Sweet and sour tin mackerel.
Lord.
No, that most nasty.
The person, is just an example. The person now reports this to Grace. Tutu's Grace come out with, so Lasco was going to release it next week. The person tell Grace, Grace release it this next day. So this kind of practice is industrial espionage, where for marketing strategies and so on, and to see the future plans, they send in other persons to basically hide in their competitors' workspace to figure out their plans and so on, and then they do it first, and the other company might lose money because they spend money for the marketing and to buy the material to make the sweet and sour mackerel already and all of the works. So they'll have to now change it because Grace come out with it already. You understand?
Yes, miss.
So as it says, industrial espionage is when secret information is obtained by spying on competitors or opponents. I think that should be the last one. So you were supposed to do this. Everybody seeing the screen? Excuse me.
Not really.
Yes, sir.
That's it, no, miss.
Impact of computer misuse on individuals, organizations, and the government. So we're going to discuss this at the next meeting.
Mr. When that
It's going to have to be this week, one day, because holiday starts the 9th.
Miss, me get
People
a
saw the day on the yard already.
Holiday, this brother.
So guys, you need to do this because I'm going to ask individuals to present their information. So if you were not able to open the PowerPoint, I'm giving you a minute to write this off.
Screenshot this.
Miss Franny, let's start. Me not top screenshot, Miss. Cause me not right.
Mistake. No. Kill me dead on me alone.
That we just do.
Alright, wanna finish?
Yes, miss.
Alright, so the rest of
That only
things.
take a couple seconds.
What time now?
2:28.
That girl had a way back at
Just
time, about
2
12.
minutes. So guys, listen. You're going to
Miss Class,
you're going to read the rest of it on your own. The persons who are not speaking, mute your microphones.
What is this?
I need everybody to mute. So the next heading is the consequences resulting from these things. We basically talk about these things already, so you're going to read them on your own. So consequences meaning like if somebody copyright your work, what could happen for you? You're going to lose money, stuff like that. You might go in a depression, you might kill yourself. If somebody go in your private laptop or so and take out, say, pictures that you didn't want exposed, that can lead to also suicide, destroying family and friendship. So read all these other things on your own, like how computer misuse impacts persons. All right. So the last thing, everybody seeing this image?
Yes, miss.
You can look at this on your own. You know, a digital citizen is anybody that uses technology. You know that, right? Digital citizen, anybody that uses technology, and if you're a good digital citizen, you'll do these things. Protect your private information, stay safe online, balance your time, etc. Read it on your own. I'm going to let you watch this video and then we close.
Okay.
The persons whose mics are not mute, please to mute. So after we watch this video, then we will know the thing is moving and it never did a move before.
If you want a computer to be perfectly secure, you could fill it with concrete and dump it in the ocean. This would protect any information on the computer from inappropriate use. Unfortunately, the computer would be completely unusable.
Miss, you not hear no, miss.
They're gone, miss.
Miss, when I hear nothing.
Miss gone.
Sorry about that.
Computer security allows you to use the computer while keeping it safe from threats. Computer security can be defined as controls that are put in place to provide confidentiality, integrity, and availability for all components of computer systems. These components include data, software, hardware, and firmware. This is a complex definition. Let's illustrate the definition by showing you a day in the life of Samantha, a security manager just hired for a small company. The company doesn't have any computer security yet, so she knows to start with the very basics. Samantha's first order of business is learning about the components of the computer systems she needs to protect. She asks the IT manager what kind of hardware, firmware, and software the company uses. Hardware is the physical part of the computer, like the system memory and disk drive. Firmware is the permanent software that runs the
Before
process
that one, miss, me have to go leave here, miss.
and is mostly invisible to the user, like the startup functions that make elements of the hardware work together. Software is the programming that offers services to the user and administrator. The operating system, word processor, computer games, and internet browser are all examples of software commonly found on a computer. Learning about these components tells Samantha what hardware, software, and firmware she has to protect. She doesn't know what types of data she'll need to protect yet, but Samantha will work with people across the company to learn what information is stored and processed in the computer systems. Samantha knows that she'll have to learn about which data is important to the company, and she'll have to protect its confidentiality, integrity, and availability. For confidentiality, she'll have to ensure that information is available only to the intended audience. That confidentiality includes privacy of information that may be personal and sensitive. Protecting the data's integrity is also a concern. The company needs certainty that information does not become inaccurate because of unintended changes. Finally, she'll work with the IT manager to protect the data's availability, or the ability for allowed persons to access the computer and its information whenever necessary. The protection of these qualities is her top goal as a security manager. These qualities are called the CIA triad. In simple language, computer security is making sure information and computer components are usable, but still protected from people and software that shouldn't access or change it. The protection comes from controls, or technical, physical, and procedural choices that limit access to the computer components. Samantha knows that controls for computer security could include virus protection, locked computer cabinets, and regular review of the people with.
All right. All right, guys. So that's basically it for today. I'll probably set a meeting for today's what, Monday?
Yes, miss.
Probably on Wednesday, and we'll finish up on Wednesday. All right.
Yes.
By the way, guys, are you watching the TVJ?
Yes, miss.
No.
That me use when I use the TVJ.
Yes, Miss Mochi.
Guys,
Miss Mochi.
Just try to watch it as best as possible, all right? And
Yes,
also remember that I sent you some spreadsheet activities that you can try at home. You don't have to send
Yes,
those to me, but the instructions are there, so please try them as best as possible because we may not get to go through those. And I don't know if everybody have device at home for me to teach it here and you're able to do it, so I need you to attempt those on your own. You can download Microsoft Excel on your devices, on your smartphones as well, and attempt the activity. All right, so we'll meet again like this on Wednesday. Thank you so much for turning up. Please to do the assignment. The
Yes, miss, me done mine.
Miss, I think send you an email.
Not the networking assignment, you know.
Okay.
This assignment that you just got. Impact,
all right, miss.
the impact of misuse on organization, individuals, and so on. It's in the middle of the slide and it's at the end of the slide. All right?
Mr. Nama Quiniam.
Only I'm gonna Jessica.
A Latonia.
Latonia.
Because you know Latonia mother already.
Alright. Alright, guys. Have a good day. See
You too.
Yes, man.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
Miss.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, I can't go
Oh,
evil.
hang up.
You're not gonna stop now.
I'm going to end this.
Alright, bye, miss.
Bye.
I gave me lunch.